Let's talk to Paul Wallace. He is a trading coach and founder of London Traders Plural Network. Very good morning to you, young Paul.
Morning, Moose.
Right, 6 thought-provoking slides. Without further ado, let's kick off with the first one. The headline, what really went down at Helsinki? Markets take profits, question mark.
Yeah, well, of course, that's been the big event this year, the big sort of geopolitical event this week. Okay, of course, these two boys in a room together, and invariably, if we look at the social media and what the mainstream media are telling me, it's a complete. There's a lot of spitting venom about it. They want him to be this kind of almost like Manchurian candidate, whereas actually I think that we're going to see different things come out of the pair of them chatting. My view, if you remember, I was here a couple of months ago and talked about the sort of Iran deal. I suspect what we will see is that actually the pair of them are going to put pressure on Iran. I still feel there'll be regime change in Iran, okay, and I hope so in a peaceful way. But of course, that has a knock-on effect to markets. So I thought, well, why don't we have a little look at that?
Okay, so let's go into your first slide. World Cup over, boo. Summer begins to take profits. The dollar against the ruble. Well, it's not a pair that I normally follow.
Well, it's not, no, but I figured, seeing as we've had a bit of a summit there between them, and it's true, the World Cup's over, Wimbledon's over,
yeah.
Everyone's fed up now, everyone just wants to go on holiday, don't they, and invariably, normally we can get a little bit of peace and quiet, but, there's a few things for us to look at, a few things to build up. Dollar ruble, I don't really do much work in this. 2014 and 15 I did, after the sort of Crimea and the sanctions, but actually you can see last week, this is a weekly chart, last year, very little happened. This year, though, we've had a little pop-up there a couple of months ago, and I see that now. This is almost like a watch and shoot, all right? It's coiling up into a nice little wedge there, and it's a case of, my view is, as we see continued dollar strength, it wouldn't surprise me if that dropped a little bit, suckered in a few shorts before it turned and blew north.
Okay, so you'd be long the dollar, short the ruble on the breakout of this triangle formation.
There we go.
Okay, let's take a look at the next slide, the dollar index. What's going on here with the mighty US dollar?
Dollar index. So in the last couple of times I've been on here, I was looking at this once again. It's a weekly chart. We talked about that 95 level. I was looking. It's about having like almost a scenario. And I was talking last time I was here that I thought, over the summer months we might get a drift down towards about that 92 area. Okay, where that sort of 20 and 50 period moving average are crossing, and I thought we might get a little drift into that area. Okay, some people taking profits on their dollar because we had a beautiful dollar run. Yeah. But and I thought that would also start to build the right shoulder of an inverse head and shoulder in the weekly chart.
Which is a bullish chart formation.
Exactly. Kind of like dip down for it to build up the strength to go. But actually, if you look at it, I have to trade what I see, don't I, Ms. and stuff. And
if I was looking at that chart, regardless of what it was, I know which way I'd be.
Yeah, exactly. I see that as like a scruffy ascending triangle there, okay? And there's going to be a little bit of pressure. It's going to get squeezed. And at the moment, looking at the way the world is, you're betting on continued dollar strength that way.
So inverse head and shoulders, ascending triangle, moving average crossover.
It's bullish.
Understood. Okay, let's move on to oil. You were bearish last time we talked about this. Yeah. Again, on the weekly chart, we've got a evening doji star type formation, evening star formation, which is bearish, right?
Yeah, it is. The kind of interesting thing is, and maybe I should have put, this is once again a weekly chart. I love weekly charts. But, I saw there was a bearish key reversal there, a couple of, what would it be, about 2 months ago when I was last here, and say, well, and the other things we talked about, I thought, maybe we're coming towards the top. But actually, it pushed north or up towards 75. But the interesting thing and kind of a learning point for new traders, have a look on the monthly chart, all right? And last month, June, was a real bullish engulfing candle, all right? Now, if that had been, let's say, the middle of last year, at the bottom of a trend, okay, and I get a bullish engulfing candle.
You would have bought.
I'd have bought it.
Yep.
But when I see it after a long uptrend, my view is it's like the last people to the party. Yep. Here. It's like this is almost like an exhaustion. It's getting towards
Goldman
the end.
Sachs, right?
Yeah, exactly. and so I'm ready to sort of watch that. So I'm still have a longer term kind of a medium term sort of bearish view. Once again, I like a head and shoulders. All right, I'd like to see it drift up to about 72. Give me some sort of bearish, some bearish price action there, and then I'd look to be short on that.
Effectively an additional lower high.
Exactly. Everybody loves a lower high.
Okay, let's move on to the gold chart. We looked at this before we went to this is not looking good, is it?
Well, when I was here, we'd just broken out of that block, and actually that sort of little counter trend line, that's where we were when I was last here, and we both were in agreement that, we had a bearish sentiment, actually we'd be, short sellers on gold, and, that's dropped beautifully, and there might be said that, there's an element of that with, as dollar has strengthened, right, people have been less interested in gold, but I thought, we'd get down to those kind of, those support levels that we saw there, and I thought we might actually take a pause there over the summer months, but actually we can see it's not interested in doing that. It's actually continuing to sort of nudge its way down there. And so now you're looking down towards those kind of levels there, right? That's where I suspect we'll end up to. It's
just for new traders. It's quite interesting that gold. There was a headline of an Egyptian billionaire suggesting he was going to put 50% of his wealth into gold because he saw up to $2,000. And in terms of oil, we saw Goldman Sachs and others talking about oil going back to 100, 150. Okay, so when they're suddenly in the headlines, invariably it goes the other way, right?
Exactly. It's none of those. You have to. Why is that information coming out? All right. Why why is that information coming out? It's like a winger in football. It's a case of he looks to go one way, but he's dropping the shoulder and going the other way. And it's the same with markets. They say it's going to go one way, and then it drops the shoulder and goes the other.
Okay, let's wrap up with the last slide. Your tribe.
Yeah, come and have a beer with Tribe. I say every time, all right, if you disagree with me, come and have a chat with me. You're right, London Traders Network. We've got our July social this evening, all right, Cellar Bar of the New Moon pub on Gracechurch Street. Doesn't matter whether you've traded
for cash bar. We hasten to add.
That's right. It doesn't matter whether you've traded for 2 weeks or 2 decades. You're very welcome. Come and have a chat with other traders.
On that note, Paul, thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.